let's get real. Social media is not just responsible for our buying decisions, it's actually responsible for how we plan out our life. And I think it's about time I come on here and I come clean a bit, because obviously everything that I portray is very much related to the fact that I lived in Bali for 2 years after working remotely and being able to quit my 9 to 5, and the fact I've had countless holidays. But there's actually a reason why I took remote work more seriously than I ever intended. And let me take you back to February 2023, when I actually made the decision to invest in learning a skill that I could onboard as a side hustle, which was appointment setting. It all started out because I couldn't get a pay rise or a promotion in the job that I was in. I had a very stingy CEO, if anyone knows about that. And I was really fed up one day. I was living at home with my parents, and I just wanted to have the freedom and flexibility that I felt everyone else had. So I was looking at doing a side hustle so that I could get an extra grand, £2,000 a month, and actually be able to afford to move out into a shared flat in London. And yeah, just the basic essentials really. It wasn't much to ask, but that's really how I came about appointment setting, just as a side hustle initially. And after about 6 weeks, I did end up handing in my notice because I was earning more from this little side hustle, working 6 hours a day at this point, than I was in my 9 to 5. And I've spoken about this a lot in my content, but what I haven't told you is the exact reason why I decided to hand in my notice after just 6 weeks. I've been so fortunate, don't get me wrong, because when I first started office life and being in a 9 to 5, it was just post-COVID, so it actually took me a while to even immerse myself in the office for 2 days a week. It was fully remote and work from home for about a year. And then when I moved to London, that role was 3 days in the office. And I'm sure that a lot of people around 2021, 2022, 2023 can relate to this, where I just started inching up, where they'd be like, wait, can you come into the office a day further? And at this point, I'd really found my feet with working from home. So what I enjoyed the most about it was just taking my laptop and being able to go and work from a cafe that was closer to one of my friends, or my granny, I used to go to hers all the time, for example, and just be able to have lunch with them and then plonk myself and work the afternoon somewhere local to them. So I did this with my granny, like I mentioned a lot, which was literally some of my favourite lunches, just going for lunch, and then I'd sit there in her lounge and just work from home with her, which is time that you can't get back. I recommend to everyone to do. And then at the time, one of my best friends was actually on maternity leave. She had the first baby in the group, which was amazing. And I've always been super close to this friend. I've wanted to be there for her. And obviously, as a girl, you have your boyfriend and everyone go back to work, so it can be quite lonely. And I think I have always been one to always love to be there for like friends and family. So I would spend as much time as possible with her when I was working from home, just checking in, going for a coffee, all that jazz. So 6 weeks in, when I realised that I could actually earn more from appointment setting than I could in my 9 to 5, it was a no-brainer for me to hand in my notice. And obviously there's all the pay rise and the promotions and the travelly bits that definitely fed into it. But days like today really remind me of exactly why this works so well for me. And today I've got a text from someone saying thank you for being there for me. And then I've also got a card from a best friend, or from her daughter, saying like, thanks for always being there for us, and some gifts, which is so nice. And I think that, yes, I might still have wanted to be there for these friends in this way if I was in my office role, but having the flexibility to be there when everyone else is at work or don't care, it makes such a difference. And like over the years, I've been fully reflecting on this today, guys. It's making me quite like just warm, fuzzy hearted. But over the years, I've been able to fly to France to help my cousin with her childcare when everyone's been super busy. So it was actually just after she'd had her second baby. And honestly, chaos. I'm just working from my laptop, working from my phone, work from anywhere lifestyle. And being able to do that is obviously really special. Being able to visit my grandma and pops when I want. And they live up north, so it's really gorgeous. And I'm actually planning on making the move back up north so I can spend more time with them. And then just seeing like as many friends as possible midweek, like even having the flexibility to when I was living more in Bali and basing myself there. Imagine if I always compare it to when I did my gap year. It wasn't really a gap year, it was 6 months in Australia, and I was working in a restaurant, and during that time I got really homesick. So I would have never guessed that I would go live somewhere like Bali for 2 years, but I was really homesick when I was there for 6 months working in a restaurant. And I'd done travelling for 3 months, but it was just over that Christmas period, I was like, I really wish I was with my family, and like I really missed all my friends and everything at the same time. And the best thing that's happened to me is having my own business and being able to work remotely, because when it comes down to the important parts, I will always try and be there. So like for my mum's 60th, for instance, that was last September, and I'd gone back to Bali in August, flown back for my mum's 60th in September, and then I flew back to Bali like 2 weeks later. And just really being able to make the most of these moments, because you do only live once, and obviously travel's important, but the freedom to actually craft your schedule and be there for people that you love the most is so, it's just the best feeling in the world. And like for me, the stories are endless. Like I've been able to maintain such a great relationship with people that I went to uni with. Jess, who she moved to Dubai 2-3 years ago when I moved back down to London, and since working remotely, she was actually my first holiday after I started appointment setting. Since working remotely, I've been able to visit her so many times, obviously on the way out to Bali, but just being able to go there and work with her and actually spend a bit of quality time, but not feel the same pressure of like, I only get 25 days annual leave and like I'm spending 4 of them here. We just slot into each other's lives, and I think that's so important, because I'm like, what is time spent with people that you love? And that's like the most amazing thing about this whole journey. And like, as much as I love talking about travel, and as much as I love showing you what's possible in that sense, honestly, there is the fact that you can actually have the availability to spend with your friends and family like I do, that's what's really priceless. If you're ever in the position where you feel like you're not spending enough time with the people that you love, you really just need to have a look at what's blocking that, because what's better at the end of the day? And that's quite a soppy one from me, but I feel like that needed to be said after my day-to-day, because it's been kind of amazing and I literally love it. And also, I'm obviously in a completely different place to all of my friends that are having kids, but I get to go and hang out with like them and their kids, and I just basically play with the kids all day. So what could be better? And now I'm working it's like 6 p.m. now, and I just got off a call with someone, and they were like, oh, sorry for disturbing you so late. And I'm like, no, because I've just had a 4-hour hiatus with my best friends. Like, what do you mean? So yeah, that's just a bit of a summary for like all of the non-travel-y bits, and exactly why you should remote work if you're thinking about it.